Hello, and today I'd like to make another review. This time it would be more interesting and a bit more expensive vehicle. And this going to be Marklin-Hamo Class 80 060 steam engine. This is a really interesting German engine, but first let's take a look on this steam engine history.
Class 80 were shunting tank engines of German railways, with wheel formula 060 and maximum speed of 45 km per hour. It was part of standard steam locomotives program. What is this program all about? Before the First World War, Germany had dozens of private railway companies, which operated in different lands. Each company had their own set of engines and rolling stock. After the First World War, most of these railroad companies were merged into Deutsche Reichsbahn Railway Company. Now, after the merger, newly made company had more than 200 different models of locomotives. Nightmare for logistics and servicing. On top of that, most of these locomotives were ancient and underserviced due to the war. So a new set of locomotives were needed with cross-compatible spare parts. Class 01 was the first standard locomotive built as part of this program, and it was express passenger train. Next was Class 80 tank engine locomotive. It was intended to be simple and robust shunting engine. Between 1927 and 1928, 39 vehicles were produced. Engine was indeed reliable, but due to its short base and height, it was very unstable. Later it was discovered that the locomotive was also prone to overheating at high speeds, so its maximum speed was limited to 45 km per hour. Further production was halted in favor of Class 82 locomotive. All 39 vehicles survived the Second World War and continued their service till 1968. It's ironical, but they were withdrawn together with 19th century shunting steam locomotives they were intended to replace. Class 80 Loco is not dead, and some steam engines are still in use in heritage rides. Although engine was not that successful, experience gained during its development and production allowed to produce more successful locomotives like Class 44 or Class 52. Some of them are still in use on Bosnian railways, but it's story for other video. In model world, Class 80 locomotive was synonym of greatest success ever imaginable. Basically, all model railway companies in Europe produced their own Class 80 locomotive. It became standard of entry-level locomotive for everyone. There are a lot of different models. We might even review some of them someday. But now let's get back to our Marklin engine.
Okay, and back to our vehicle. As I mentioned before, this vehicle is made by Marklin. Marklin usually do AC engines, but this one is converted by DC by Hamo. So basically it's Marklin-Hamo Class 80 vehicle. Uh, According to database, this model was made at the end of 1940s or in the beginning of 1950s. This model is made completely from metal, so everything is metal cast. If I'm not mistaken, it's a zinc alloy. So yeah, this vehicle is really heavy, but let's take a look on vehicle outlook. Cast vehicles is a bit more harder to detail, especially such old vehicles made by quite ancient technologies. But anyway, let's take a look on this engine. Uh, Everything is cast. You can see some pipes on vehicle boiler. There isn't much of details here, but still you can see all pipes are done here. Also, rivets could be seen. Uh, the pipe is just also cast. There is no cab details. Inside the cab, there is no glass. Inside the cab, you can see a huge, just huge Marklin engine. But engine should be huge, as I mentioned before. This steam engine is really heavy, and you need a bigger engine in order to pull this zinc metal cast locomotive and metal cast passenger or freight wagons. Yeah, I think this one is made from Zink-Alloy. As Marklin at the beginning of 50s and at the end of 40s used zinc alloy to produce its vehicles, and unfortunately due to zinc pest, a lot of Marklin vehicles from that days are dead by now. At the front, you can see a lighting. Yes, this locomotive has directional lighting. You also can see really nicely done steps, also from metal. Front of the boiler is also has some detailization. On the other side, basically locomotive is literally the same. It has metal buffers. And also jack shaft made from metal as well. At the back of locomotive there is no lighting, just cast lights imitation, some metal cast coal. Actually it looks awesome in my opinion. Yeah, honestly, it looks realistic, quite realistic I would say. So nothing special from the roof. Let's flip it over. At the bottom you can see a conversion made by Hamo. Instead of third rail system, you can see a system which picks up power from left wheel set. Right from the right wheel set, power also picked up and picked up by locomotive body. So plus go through locomotive body and minus go through this metal plate to the engine. At the bottom you also can see screws which holds together locomotive body and chassis. Also you can see that it's possible to change couplers. Probably these couplers are not original, but I'm not sure. And I think that's it for its locomotive, at least from outside. Also you can see locomotive number. It says it's TM800, which is definitely not prototypical. There wasn't such locomotives in real life, so it's mostly factory number of this locomotive, and it also proudly says that it's made by Marklin. Locomotive weighs 387 grams, almost 400 grams. So yeah, it's metal cast and really heavy engine. Now let's check how locomotive runs. I assembled my ugly track once again, and now we are going to give our locomotive some juice. Okay, it starts from the 4 volts, which is actually a very nice result. Let's give him 9 volts. As you can see, already it has huge current draw, like 0.48 amps and about 4 watts. But it works, and directional lighting is also working, and it runs pretty fast. Now let's give him 12 volts. Okay, around 12 volts. Current draw half of ampere and about 6 watts. It's actually pretty fast runner. and quite noisy one. Let's also measure locomotive speed. So about 7 seconds to complete the track on full speed. So according to my calculations, its top speed is 175 kilometers per hour. Definitely not prototypical at all. Now to the pulling capacity. So I made this consist from 10 wagons. It weighs about 1 kilo in total. But I think it won't be a problem for this locomotive at all, considering it weight and motor power. So let's give him some juice. I'm going to give him 9 volts, as I was doing with previous locomotives. And as you can see, it was just 5 volts and it's already pulling, although it's stuck. But okay, let's give him 9 volts and then just wiggle this locomotive. Come on, wake up. I think I didn't lose power at all. It's still ultra fast, despite it's just 9 volts. So no problems with pulling capacity at all. So what's my conclusion about this locomotive? It's interesting piece of engineering, I would say. It's very robust. It's very powerful. Reliability, well, it's Marklin, top-notch reliability. Probably it's prone to zinc pest, but considering it's 75 years old already, I don't think it's going to happen to exactly this model. Do I recommend this model? It's hard to say. Prototype itself, in my opinion, is a bit boring, but exactly this model, in my opinion, one of the best Class 80 locomotives in HO scale. Yeah, modern engines are way more detailed. They have detailed cab view, they have sounds if they are digital, and so on. But this one, it feels heavy and it feels robust and feels like work engine, which I actually like a lot.
So, final score going to be also B tier. Maybe it's a bit boring prototype, but it's robust, reliable, and it's Marklin. So B tier. Thank you for watching and see you next time.